Welcome back at 5:11. I'm Kelsey Davis.
And I'm Olivia Vidal. Let's check back in with meteorologist Hannah Gard, who had tracking our Tuesday forecast. We're trucking along this week.
Yep, we are trucking along, but we're tracking an increase in storm chances today and tomorrow. So as you're headed out and about, just make sure you grab the umbrella, grab the rain jacket, send that with the kiddos as they're headed out to school. We'll have an isolated flood threat with this as well, because we could see heavy rain with any of the storms, gusty winds, and frequent lightning, giving you that first alert as you headed out this morning. On Viper radar, we're seeing some storms down by the mouth of the river, but inland we don't have much going on. We do have a little scattered shower out there in Tangipahoa Parish, but most of the storm activity is offshore right now, where we have this disturbance. National Hurricane Center is mentioning this with a 0% chance for tropical development, so not worried about that with this system. But of course, that heavy rain could still cause some issues as we go throughout the next day or so. Playing this out on the modeling, we have this feature around. The models are not really showing too much today, but I do want you to know that there is that potential for some storms to pop up with high rain rates. It's mainly showing shower activity, and then some storms north of us. Anywhere in the area could see the storms pop up. That's what we're preparing for today. Then tomorrow, as this low is pulling across the region, I think this is really when we have to watch for the flood threat, because any of these storms that pop up will be moving pretty slowly. And you could see that they line up in the late afternoon, early evening, and we could see that heavy rain. By Thursday, the feature is pulling out of the area. We'll see some thunderstorm activity in the afternoon, but this will be more typical summertime storms where they're fairly isolated, some areas seeing rain. So we'll go down from 60% to 40 on Thursday and Friday, then all the way down to 30 through the weekend and the start of next week as things dry out. Our temperatures will be jumping up to the mid-90s. Will be 94 Thursday, Friday, then we get to 96 Saturday and Sunday. In the tropics, we are tracking Tropical Storm Erin out there in the Atlantic. Definitely have that low-level circulation. We're seeing that system starting to move away from the Cabo Verde Islands. It's way out there still, but starting to move more into the central Atlantic. The latest advisory has the winds at 45 miles per hour sustained. It's moving pretty quickly to the west at 22 miles per hour. Now, once it gets farther into the central Atlantic, we expect to see our first hurricane of the season, and then ultimately by the weekend, our first major hurricane of the season. And this is something to watch for the Leeward Islands, Puerto Rico. If you have trips or cruises planned out there, this is something to closely monitor, because it could take that more southerly track where we would see more impacts to parts of the Caribbean. But if it takes the more northerly track, then that wouldn't be so much of an issue. The steering with this, we have high pressure to the north of the system right now. That's what's steering it west. But then in the long range, we'll have a low dipping down over eastern Canada that will try to pull it north. So the question mark for the east coast of the U.S. will be, when does that happen? We certainly could see some coastal impacts like increased waves. We have another lemon way up there in the northern Atlantic, but that has a low chance of tropical development. So we'll keep monitoring Erin. Of course, right now it looks like not a threat to the Gulf. I think that north turn will happen. It'll be more, how many impacts do we see for parts of the East Coast, surf impacts, and then if it does take longer to turn to the north, that'll be something to watch for them. And it is so far out.
Right.
We got to take everything in that long range with a grain of salt. Right now, we're just mainly focusing on, will we see some impacts to the Caribbean? Something to watch for people who have vacations.
Well, and we have those really hot temperatures sitting on top of us over the weekend. Is that a heat dome, and are we going to be seeing that, can you all tell, into next week?
It definitely doesn't look like it's a semi-permanent feature for us, which I know we don't like the heat, but we like the heat dome over us. I don't really think that that's just going to sit there, but right now it's positioned favorably because that low will be to the east of us that will eventually pick it up to the north.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Hannah. Hey, we saw some congestion yesterday for back to school.